Welcome to day 18 of Deploy to Purpose. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't grow up confident in my voice. I used to mumble when I spoke. People would constantly say, like, huh? Say that again? I can't hear you. Speak louder. I used to always have to repeat myself every time I said anything. I stayed quiet in group conversations. I didn't want to raise my hand in class. Even when I knew the answer, I was scared of sounding stupid. But something changed. I made a decision to stop hiding and start developing the one thing that no one could take from me, and that was my voice. So I started reading, and books helped me think better. They helped me speak clearer, and most importantly, they helped me believe that my words carried weight. And now I've spoken at corporate events, given keynotes for charities, and stood on stages in front of hundreds of people. All because I chose to stop shrinking and start connecting. And that's what we're going to learn how to do today. Today is about learning how to own your own voice and use it with power and purpose. Influence isn't about being louder, it's about being clearer and more connected, more real. It's not about how good the product or service is, it's about how well you communicate it. If people don't understand you, they can't follow you. Let's change that starting now. You can have the best product, the best vision, the best heart, but if people can't feel it, they won't follow it. Influence is built on two pillars, and that's impact, the change you help people create, and connection, how seen, heard, and valued they feel around you. Facts tell, emotions sell, but connection builds movements. Here's what most people never think about, and it's why so many messages never land. There's a difference between what you think, what you actually say, and what the other person hears. Let's say you think you're being helpful, but the way you say it sounds cold, and the other person receives it as criticism, not care. That's miscommunication. The problem isn't always what you say, it's what they hear. So don't just say, did I say it right? Ask, did they receive what I meant? That's how real communicators operate. They don't just talk, they transfer understanding. Let's look at someone who mastered this, and that was Steve Jobs. When he launched the iPod, he didn't talk about the specs or tech. He simply said, 1,000 songs in your pocket. That phrase built an empire. Why? Because it was simple, emotional, and clear. And that's what you need. Messaging, people don't just understand, but they feel. Four keys of becoming. Here are the four keys of becoming a high impact communicator. Clarity over complexity. If they're confused, they'll say no. Keep it simple and you'll be remembered. Speak to the heart, not just the head. Logic informs, emotion inspires action. When people feel something, they move. Be authentic, not perfect. You don't need to perform, you need to connect. The real you is more powerful than the filtered version. And connection before conversion. People must feel seen before they'll follow you, even if it's great. If they don't trust your heart, they'll reject your offer. You also have a component, a part of your brain, which is very important to understand. It's called the alligator mind. Your brain is made up of three components. You have the alligator mind, the midbrain, and the neocortex. The alligator mind is based off of the survival mode, fight or flight. So when you're walking down the street and you hear a noise, your alligator brain picks up on that noise and you're like, okay, is there any danger? And at that point, the midbrain has an understanding of the social complexities of the world. You see the person, you make a social reference. Neocortex makes the final interpretation of this person across the street is not causing any danger, he's just yelling to his friend. Most of the time when we speak, we're using the processing power of the neocortex. But when people are receiving the information, it's the alligator brain. So we must connect and also give the information in a way that's easy to understand because it's fight or flight. They're not trying to use their brain processing power for complex scenarios because if it's boring, they don't want to hear it. If it's not exciting, they don't want to hear it. If it's complex, they're trying to summarize it and move on. So we must be able to connect in a way that gathers their attention and is able to leave an impact on the conversation. And if you're in business, this is very important, especially for sales, because that connection is what is going to make your profits. It's how to grow your communication daily. Know your core message. Can you explain what you do, who you help, and why it matters in under 30 seconds? Tell stories, not just facts. As I said before, you want to be interesting to appeal to that alligator mind. Facts fade, stories stick. Turn lessons into moments people remember. And focus on the other person. Ask questions. Listen with your eyes. Be fully present. Make them feel like the most important person in the room. And practice micro connections. Smile, speak life, show love in small moments. As I said, read. Read daily. Read. If you want to grow, you want to be a good leader, you have to be a reader. Write your 30-second purpose pitch, what you do, who it's for, and why it matters. And in your next conversation, lead with emotion before logic. Reach out to one person today just to build a relationship. No agenda. And journal, did I try to be impressive or did I try to connect? And reflect. Where have I been explaining instead of truly connecting? How can I simplify my message and increase my impact? Who can I reconnect with this week? What would my life look like if I led every conversation with clarity, care, and purpose? You were never called to be quiet. You were called to speak up and shift atmospheres. Whether if it's in a meeting, it's a DM, or a stage with 1,000 people, your voice is a vehicle for someone's transformation. And remember, speaking is an ongoing learning process, and you will become better over time. I know I am becoming a better communicator just by recording these videos. So speak with courage, communicate with clarity, and lead with heart. And I'll leave you with this. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And also, I love this quote by James Humes. The art of communication is the language of leadership. So this is day 18 complete, and I'll see you tomorrow.